Hi, I'm Mike Irvin, and welcome to Spotlight on DACC. This is a program that is put together by Danville Area Community College for you to get a closer look at the programs and the services and some of the academic offerings that we have here at your Danville Area Community College. We're going to look at a little different program during this first segment as we look at something called Career Beginnings. Now, some of us who have been in the job force for quite some time still don't know what our career is, I guess, but maybe we can help some of the younger students. Pat Shedlock is with me. She is the coordinator of Career Beginnings. Pat, let's talk a little bit about it. And first, let's just start off with the basics. What is Career Beginnings?
Career Beginnings is a program offered through Danville Area Community College for Danville high school students. We work with third and fourth year high school students on academic or career building activities. We visit colleges. We work on a portfolio with them. We help them stay in school and keep on track for graduation.
Okay, now why us, Pat? Why DACC working with DHS?
This was a project started by Mary Lou Meter as part of Workforce Challenge, and it was an outgrowth of a need that we see that students can use some career extra enrichment career awareness activities.
Okay, and we are the coordinating agency, I guess, because it's grant funded, is that right?
Yes, we're funded by, we're a federal HECA grant, and we work in collaboration with Eastern Illinois University.
Okay, and so we're talking about juniors and seniors in high school, right? Are we helping them to decide what to do or to get an idea in their own mind where they're best suited as far as their talents and their skills? How does the program work? I guess maybe we ought to get to that point.
Each student has an academic career planner who is at the high school. This is a teacher or an administrator with District 118 that works with the students, helping them with their career needs, helping them with their academic needs, keeping on track. You need these classes. What help do you need to graduate? They also have a business mentor, which is a local area businessman or woman who works with the students and talks with them to get ideas of what will help them. We give surveys with the students to see what type of jobs they would be good at. We also work with Jeff Favre from the Economic Danville EDC to help them get summer jobs their junior and senior year.
Okay, in the areas that they're interested in, if that's possible?
Yes.
How many students, Pat, do you guess, and I'm not asking for a number, but do most of them have a pretty good idea of what they want to do as they go on?
Did you?
No, absolutely not.
I think some of them do. I started in this program midway, and I found the students I'm working with did have a good idea. I believe probably at the beginning when they were chosen as sophomores, they did not have an idea.
I see. Okay. So this just helps them get some basic skills that they need to progress into some career, I guess. And some of us still don't know exactly, I guess, what we want to do with our lives, right? What kind of skills are we looking at? What are we teaching, or what are we working with our students for? I see down here we've got some things that we say career beginners should demonstrate, and then we got a whole list of things that we're looking for in our students.
When we ask the students to apply, they have to be in the mid-range, between 30th and 70th percentile rank. They have to be A or B students with few absences. So we want students who sometimes slip through the cracks. There are a lot of programs for the gifted. There are a lot of programs for students who are behind. Often the middle student just kind of flows on through the school. They don't cause trouble, but they need help also.
Okay. So we're just looking at students who have abilities in the medium range.
Yes.
Nothing that is exceptionally stands out, I guess, but those who still need some direction. How do we work with them? When we talked about we have a mentor from the community in the workplace, what are they doing with our students?
The mentors meet with the students, not usually one-on-one in private, because since these are minors, there are parameters have to be met. But the mentors attended the programs the students attended, and they could talk about ideas and discuss career needs. And you know, if you're interested in my kind of work here at this place, you need to learn this, you need this science, or you need that classes.
Sure.
Just advice mainly.
So they give them the real practical knowledge that they have to succeed in this particular particular business.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Pat, how do these students? How do they become aware of the program? How do they get involved in it? How do you find these between 30 and 70th percentile students?
Well, since we work with the high school, they will run through their database, and at the end of the sophomore year, they will spin off a list of the students who meet the criteria, who have less than the 12 absences or less, who are between the 30th and 70th percentile rank, and give us a list. And they are all invited. Their parents and the student are invited to an assembly that's held at the high school during high school hours. And the program is discussed. We tell them what to expect. We had several of the students who are graduating this year come and talk to the students to say what they had learned. And then at that point they can apply.
Okay.
And at this point we have some who have applied, and they're already being interviewed through by Mary Metzen at the high school.
I see. Now, how long has this program been in effect?
This is the end of the second year.
Okay.
The first class is graduating this year.
This is the first class.
Yes.
So this is a little hard for us to judge our success, I guess, over a long period of time because we've only got 2 years experience. But
at the beginning of the year, when I started in October, which really isn't the beginning of the year, I had 28 students. Of those 28, 2 graduated in January, 1 dropped out of the program, but is still on track to graduate, and the other 25 will graduate.
Oh,
so we're really proud of this class.
You got to say that's successful then, I would suspect.
They probably would have graduated anyway, but it's nice to be able to say they did.
Right.
5 of them received 9 scholarships. 17 are on track to go into some kind of further training, either here at DACC or at a 4-year college. 3 have been accepted by the military.
Oh, okay. So have you already made this announcement, so to speak, to the current sophomore class? Have you already had your program or your invitation out and the people have gathered? How did that work out for this year?
We had, of the 112 invited, 103 attended.
Is that right? And a lot of parents as well?
No, we had no parents.
No parents, just students.
We're getting ready now to send a letter out to the parents to say that we still have a few openings left if they want their student to apply.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the components of the Career Beginnings program here. You have academic and career planning. Let's talk about that for a minute and give us some background into that.
Okay. It's divided up into 4 areas, and one is the academic career planning, and with that we want to help them make a plan to see that there are steps they need to make to reach their goals, and that they need to continue in some kind of training or in college to get a good job.
Okay.
And we worked on resume building this year, and we also worked with them to fill out forms to get college scholarships, so we do both.
Sure. I see in here you have practice interviewing techniques. That's got to be interesting for you.
Yes. What I'm hoping to arrange for this incoming class will be to come out here to the college and use the studio so that they can see themselves then on tape.
First impressions are pretty important, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too, Pat, as we go to different career fairs and see things around here that are offering opportunities, many of our applicants or people coming to look at jobs appear not to take it very seriously based on the way they dress. You would look at that. And I think you probably talk to the students about that kind of thing. Not to come in a T-shirt with some big logo on it and cutoffs and so forth. It's an interesting... it's just an interesting spectacle sometimes to see how people come to look at jobs. Then we have academic and career skill building activities. What about that area, the one in your form?
In that area we work with communication skills, because this is one of the soft skills employers say they need. We'll work on leadership skills, team building. We actually, this past year, went out to the woods twice in Potomac so that they could go through challenges where they had to work as a team and they had to figure out what to do. They got 14 of the students and their 2 teachers and a bus driver over a 12-foot wall, but they had to plan it because once you go over, you can no longer help. So the last person has no one to lift him. So they worked it, and they practiced and worked it and figured out what to do.
Sometime, Pat, come back and tell us how they did that, okay? I'd like to get an idea of how that works. I see they take business and industry tours
Yes.
here as well. They go around and get an opportunity to see various aspects of industry.
They take what's called day on the road tours, where they may see 2 or 3 different places. They might do one day they did a media tour where they went to commercial news, they went to WDAN, and a third place, and I don't remember now where it was.
Okay, so it gives them a good overall perspective of different industries in the area, and we seem to be having a lot of new industry coming, so it gives them even more opportunity to see. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about the mentoring, but it's just more of a relationship building type of opportunity, right?
Yes. Sometimes when you talk with someone who's actually in a business, they seem more credible than if I tell them, you really need to study this and this to work. If you're going to work at Krupp, you're going to have to do this.
Right.
But if Mr. Blinn is working with these students and he says, if you're going to work for me, you need this, it's much more powerful.
It's much more powerful, that's right. And so that's a good opportunity for them. And I would suspect that the employers are always keeping a lookout for top-notch potential employees.
Yes.
And so they want to make a good impression. Plus, they also want them to have the skills when they come into the workplace that they will need. And then I see we've got summer employment here, which is always on the mind of a student. Well, let me take that back.
Yes,
Not always on the mind of students, but should be, I guess. We offer them the opportunity then to go out and work.
Yes.
And get an opportunity to make some money and something that suits their interests maybe and looks a little bit down the road with them.
We tried, I was not here when they got their jobs last summer, but Jeff Favre and worked really hard at trying to place them somewhere where they wanted to be, and they were very seldom entry jobs. We had a young lady who worked at Medham, and they worked her each week. She rotated somewhere different. They worked for 6 weeks, and they rotated her between 6 different operations. And so really it's stronger than just going out and dipping ice cream or something for the summer.
Sure. Well, that's really the opportunity of a lifetime to get out and work at several different positions in one environment. And then when they go back and put their resume together, that certainly looks good too, doesn't it, when they've had an opportunity to work. Well, we've got about 2 minutes left in our program here. Pat, let's talk a little bit about some of the other opportunities here. I see that you've got some other areas that you're, besides career beginnings, you have task force with elementary education that you're working with and something to do with minority teacher identification. Expound on those a little bit as we close our program out.
These are all projects that were started before I had come to the college. The Elementary Education Task Force is a group of middle school and elementary teachers and principals who are working together to help provide either workshops or activities for parents to get them into the school so they're involved in their local school, and that they also realize that more education is necessary.
And what about the Minority Teacher Identification and Enrichment Program?
That's a second HECA grant through with Eastern. And there is a teacher representative here at DACC, at Danville High School, both middle schools and at Northeast, who works individually with the children. It's just my job to keep it all paperwork done, and so that money funnels to them to pay for the activities. They work with the students.
Is this a real need in minority faculty positions in the area?
Yes.
Okay. I know we don't. We strive here at the college to seek minority faculty members, and it's a challenge. And it appears that it must be in all areas of the educational life. Any case, a couple other things that you're working on: Parents 2000, the Career Beginnings Workforce Challenge office. We need to talk about that. Give me a phone number, Pat, if somebody needs to call you.
443-8586.
8586, and that's here at the college. So
yes,
they can get in touch with you here. Well, thank you. Pat Shedlock is our coordinator for Career Beginnings, and I'm Mike Irvin, your host for Spotlight on DACC. We invite you to stay tuned because we're going to talk about careers not just for high school students and college students in a few moments, but other students and individuals in the community who would like to explore some new opportunities in their career. We'll be talking with Dianna Wyatt in just a few moments. So stay tuned. I'm Mike Irvin for Spotlight on DACC.
Seems like technology has passed me by. I don't think I can ever catch up.
Think again.
I'm a working parent. I don't think I have time for classes.
Think again. On my budget, I really don't think school is an option.
Think again.
Who am I kidding? My chance to go to college has slipped away.
Think again. Think DACC.
Hi, I'm Lon Kruger, head men's basketball coach for the University of Illinois. The way our team excels on the court and the way all students can excel in school is by starting each day with a well-balanced breakfast. Whether you need the muscle power to slam dunk or the brain power to survive math, you'll get it by starting each day the only way. Our team knows it, and you should too. Excellence begins with breakfast.
Welcome back to Spotlight on DACC. Once again, I'm Mike Irvin, your host for this portion of the program, where we're going to take a leap from where we were at the first part of the program, talking about career beginnings, and now we're going to talk to our director, our coordinator of career services, Dianna Wyatt. Thank you for joining us here. We're going to talk about the services that you offer and how we can help students and I guess people in the community too, can't we, as far as finding some career opportunities. What services in general does the career services department offer?
Okay. We have a wide menu of services that we offer both students, alumni, and community members. We start out with career counseling, career assessment, some personality assessment, before we even get into the job search. And a lot of individuals wonder why we do that. And it's to help the individual figure out what they're all about, so when they're making goals and plans, that first to know about themselves, they'll be more successful.
Okay.
Then we take them from that step into the job search area. We help them with resume writing. We help them get occupational information. We have individuals who call and they'll say, what's the position that I could get with the highest wage? So we help take that individual and show the whole scope of the occupation, the training needed, the positives and the negatives, work with them there so they'll know exactly what they're getting into. Then we branch that search a little wider into labor market information. And then we help prepare that individual to actually go out and seek that job. So we work several areas there to help.
So when they come into you, many times they're coming in with not a clear idea of what they even want to do themselves.
Right.
And then you help them through your testing and your counseling and so forth, get an idea of what their personality is best suited for.
And we work with the theory that the more they know about themselves, their skills identification, their values, what they're looking for, the better choices they're going to make and the more satisfied that employer is going to be with them.
So many people, I'm sure, come to you, and I guess I would be the same way, particularly out of high school or even in college, and not really knowing what I wanted to do, and how many of us are actually working at the job today that we went to college for.
That's true.
In the beginning.
That's true.
So.
The way that the labor market is now, you've heard that an individual will change careers 7 to 10 times in a lifetime. So a lot of these processes are things that we offer to individuals who are employed currently, who just want to know a little bit more about themselves, do some career management. And it's very interesting steps to get into to help.
Do you think it's important, Dianna, for a student to take these kind of personality characteristic counseling type programs even in high school or just out of high school? Is that an important step for them, do you think?
We like for students to be introduced to this about their junior, senior year. Many area high schools are using some of the same assessments that we are using. We have a different variety of assessments that we use too, because that's when we start doing our planning for the future and thinking a little bit more about what it involves instead of the answer, what do I want to be when I grow up? So I do encourage, if a student at that age is interested or at that level, I do encourage for the high schools to bring them in. We'll do a little work with them. We go into the high schools and do classes and work with the instructors there. So all the area high schools have been using our services.
I'm sure the time frame varies from student to student, but if someone were to call you tomorrow and want to come in and begin this process, how long would it take them to go through the counseling and the testing and so forth to come to some kind of a decision whether they need more schooling or whether there's a new career choice for them?
That's almost an individual response there. We will try to get that individual in immediately. We always try to have an open door process. It will take roughly almost 2 hours to get through the assessments, and then for us to sit down, we will talk with the individual, give them some things to research, think about. Then they will leave and go explore some opportunities and then maybe come back again. So unfortunately, we don't have that magic program where we could input the information and get the answer for them on the spot. So it is a long process. It's not something you just sit down and decide on the spot.
Yeah, this morning you don't decide I need some new skills and then end up with something by the end of the afternoon.
And if we don't have the answer for them through our resources here, we will refer them to where we think they'll get the exact information they need.
And once again, this does not have to be a high school student, and it doesn't have to be a DACC student,
That's
right?
true.
It can be anyone from the community.
Anyone from the community.
Okay, so they just call your office, and we'll give that phone number pretty
Sure.
soon and set up an appointment time and come in and visit with you about that. You also, besides helping people determine careers, also are involved in placement, right?
Yes, we are.
And you work with the local agencies, is that right, too?
We work with local agencies here in town, partnership with the Illinois Department of Employment Security. We work with other community college placement offices, and also with some directly with employers themselves. We do have the job fair that goes on each year. We publish a job line that goes out each week with job orders that employers give us to help refer candidates to them. So we work very closely with them to try to make a good match. One thing this year that we've improved upon, we've always marketed our first place resume program, and this year we have what we are calling our employment referral program, which branches out to any student at the college, any community member who wants to come in, fill out a form with all the needed information, and they will be in our employment referral system. And we code those to match the employment order from an employer so that we can have a direct match and make additional referrals. So
I see.
a good resource there for that. You need to tap into all the resources when you're in a job
And I do
market.
understand that you will help people with resume writing, you say?
Yes, we help individuals with the basic, starting to critique their skills, to even write the resume, help them get a resume put together. Now, unfortunately, we don't sit and type them, but we do have resources where we could refer them to help them out with that. We will work with developing resumes, cover letters, and even instruct that individual on how to properly fill out the application.
I see.
Because they need to know all the ins and outs
Right.
to be successful.
Right.
So.
In the previous part of the program, the first part of the program, Diana, we were talking about career beginnings and the skills for interviewing. You
Yes.
also walk through that with an applicant, right?
Absolutely.
And what they wear.
And what they wear and what they don't wear.
Right.
And we take an individual and we work with them on their interviewing skills. We go into the classrooms and do mock interviews for the students, and we can do that for an individual. If they want to practice their interviewing, come in and we will critique them. We hear what employers, the feedback from interviews from students, and then we tell the students what to improve upon. There are some new trends in interviewing now that everyone should be aware of. We've always taught to be able to answer the top 10 questions, identify skills and weaknesses, but the trend now is in what they call BBI, interviewing, behavior-based interviewing, and it's a system of questions to get your responses to identify behaviors, with the fact being that previous behaviors are an indicator of how you will act down the line. So behavior-based interviewing is very strong now, and if an individual is not trained in how to respond to that correctly and honestly, they may be doing themselves selling themselves short there by
Right.
not knowing the responses.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we really work with individuals on how to answer those interviewing questions.
And that tells an employer a lot when the interviewee comes in, based on what they're wearing, I would
Yes, it
suspect.
does.
Right off the
First
bat.
impressions, it takes 7 seconds to
Uh-huh.
make an impression. So we do
Yes.
talk to them on their interviewing, not only their performance, but their actual appearance, body language.
I just noticed even when you have your job fair over here,
Yes.
and people are actually coming and filling out applications
Yes.
there. And, they're wearing their
Wearing their
beer hat
jeans
and
and
jeans
coming
and
in. This year we had clinics even before to let individuals know how to prepare for a job search. But it's new. It's new to a lot of individuals who have been downsized and are recycling. Gone are the days where you just walk up and fill out an application and get employment. So they need to know what the employers are looking for there, and we're willing to work with those individuals.
Well, as we talk about interviewing and opportunities out there, where are our areas of growth right now? What are we looking at in this area, and then regionally expanded for opportunities?
There are several areas that we're looking at right now in Vermilion County and wider, what I call the hot areas right now. Of course, technology. Employers in Vermilion County are looking for the higher skilled individuals, and computer programming, computer networking, and included in that too is computer drafting, the CAD classes. Healthcare industry, of course, is a very strong growth area.
Are you talking about nursing
type programs, any occupation in healthcare, whether it be the visiting nurse. The look of healthcare right now is changing. You know, our hospitals are changing, and the look of the healthcare itself is changing, but the need is still there for the individuals to do the service. We're also looking at a big growth in service industries. Many times you'll hear individuals state that there are no jobs in Vermilion County, and that's just not true. The jobs, the outlook, it's all changed. We've gone to more service industry, and there is a predicted 20% growth in our service industry.
And an example, Diana, of a service industry would be something
A
like...
service industry may be something similar to the new Sigma Corporation that's coming in, a food distributor. It could be a child care facility. Anything that's giving another individual or another employer a service there.
Not a manufacturing.
Not a manufacturing. Counselors are service industry, so it's very wide area there. And along with manufacturing, and you mentioned manufacturing, there is a growth in manufacturing in Vermilion County, but it's a change from the big employers like GM and Valmont to the smaller employers, mid-range employers, and we do have a steady growth of those here in Vermilion County. And then too, the business, the administrative assistants, computer input, and accounting, especially accounting with computer skills. There's growth for that.
Sure.
too.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity in Vermilion County, particularly, and I
there
would
is.
suspect we are just a microcosm of probably what's going on everywhere, particularly in the computer industry.
Right.
It's just almost wide open, I would suspect. In that.
In many areas, wider than Vermilion counties, many individuals are offering sign-on bonuses for some of these fields because the competition is so great there. But they're not only looking for the individual with these skills, they're looking for the whole package. They want the whole person there, not just specific skills.
Do people in these industries, Diana, look for the fresh employee, the one right out of college, or are they taking a closer look at the more mature individual?
Exactly.
That's the gentle way of saying us old people.
Closer I get to that, I'm not. They're looking at the whole package, truthfully. And if that college graduate has their act together, if they have communication skills, verbal skills, if they have a lot of the soft skills that they're looking for, and the newer education and skills, and can prove what they're doing, then they're just as compatible. Right now, the employers are also looking at the mature worker, like we call it, who has recycled because of downsizing and or either just career changes. And that's the norm now. It's going to be the norm from now on. So that myth of of being out there sometimes and feeling like, that they're not going to look at the mature worker. It's slowly disappearing there, and sometimes we kind of cripple ourselves by getting caught on that. The trick, whether you're young and old, is to identify your skills and where to market it and what you're looking for and make that match.
And that process begins by calling your office.
By calling our office.
And that number is what?
443-8753.
Okay, and they can, by calling that office, they can set up an appointment.
Yes.
During the regular working hours, come in and
Yes.
begin
And if
the
you're
process.
working and need some special services, we do change our schedule to meet your needs. So feel free to call us if there's
Another
something.
valuable service offered by Danville Area Community College.
We'd like to think so.
Dianna Wyatt, the Coordinator of Career Services, thank you for joining me, and thank you for joining us as well as we've taken a closer look at a wonderful program that's offered here at your Danville Area Community College. Please take advantage of it. Just give us a call and we'll set you up with an appointment to get some career counseling and some advisement to set up for your future. Once again, I'm Mike Irvin. Thank you for joining us on Spotlight on DACC.